that? Side to side on this one. That's it.
So we've got another beautiful day today, and we've decided to take a break from the foundation, moving that stone. And so instead, Al's going to make a path from outside of our door all the way to the solar shed. He's going to make a flagstone path with all of the broken up cement pieces that we took from the bottom of the farmhouse floor. It looks really nice. We love the way that it looks, and we want to make sure that we can seed all of the areas this year, get the grass and the clover growing in all of the areas that we have mud right now, so that we just don't have that problem anymore. And the problem with not having a path to walk on from the truck to the house is that we often take different routes. And so this way it'll kind of force us to let that grass grow, give it a chance, and it'll also just look really nice. The other thing is, normally on a day like this, I would be cutting the grass. It is growing very fast, but the dandelions are literally just starting to come up, so I really do want to leave it as long as I can. I'm hoping to make it for the whole month of May, and just give the bees a chance to pollinate. So nervous about it because, you know, I've never forgotten that first year when we tried to mow that down after leaving the grass for way too long, and it just it was quite an endeavor, but you know, I do want to leave it as long as I can for the bees. How's it going?
It's going all right. It's slower going than, you know, famous every time words. Slower than I'd like it to, but it's going. After we had finished with the building site, and then to clean up and grade the property around this building, so you want it to slope away from the building so that water runs away from it. There was already grass on top, and at the time I guess we were probably in a rush or just exhausted from the building this entire thing. But rather than go through the pain of digging up the sod that was already in place and then putting down more topsoil and either planting seed or putting sod, we just put soil over top of the grass that was already there. And what's happened is, so you can see it here, the soil that we used is heavily laden with clay. So here, I'll break some up, and you can see it literally comes up and it looks like a piece of pavement. So what I've been doing with those is I have no interest, because I could break it all up like this, right? And then it looks like, oh, great soil. But because there's so much clay in it, it's just going to pack back down. At least that's my theory. I don't want to test it. And then once you get below that level of pavement, if I dig in a little bit deeper, what comes up is the old roots from the switchgrass and the grass that was growing through here originally. But since grass was growing fairly well through it, I'm going to assume that it's decent soil. But I actually have to, and you can see here, I'm digging down about maybe 3 inches down through to get to the soil where there's no roots or anything growing in it. Then I'm laying down that sand. Then I'm putting down each of the stones and then leveling them off and slipping sand underneath them and shimming them, so to speak, until it's all nice and mwah. But
well, it looks beautiful.
yeah, I'm happy with the result, and I'm not really complaining, other than I'm just making peace with the fact that you can see here where the grass is all dead. This grass is all dead, and my suspicion is it's just simply that it's packed down tight, so the grass can't grow in this, at least not easily. Like you'll see, there's some brave souls that poke their way through here and there, little tufts, but for the most part, it's like trying to grow plants through the cracks in pavement, right? Or through the pavement. So to amend all of this so that this actually ends up as wonderful and as Ireland as the rest of our yard, yeah, we just got to bite the bullet, and that's why I'm going to use the backhoe and just scrape it all, lift up that layer of sod that we laid down, rip through the layer of sod that's beneath, that's all kind of rotted root mass, and you know what I mean? Then maybe I'll get out our little rototiller and blend it all up nice, and then we'll grade it down. What I've been doing with all this extra hard pack that I have no interest in, we're carrying it down to the riverfront, and I'm building up the bank at the lowest point, so that, you know, maybe we can create like a dike system that will hold back the river, so that, you know, if it only rises as high as even as it did this year, which is the highest that we've seen it and the highest that we're aware of in the last decade, you know, it'll be held at bay instead of flooding out the property and letting the beavers up to dig up the lawn and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So yeah, and we're gonna have so much extra earth in that from our excavation, because if I can get away with it, I don't really want to backfill it.
Yeah.
We can use that to, again, just to raise that end of the property. That'll be a job, but we'll raise that end of the property even further, so even if the water does overrun that dike, we'll have, you know, built it up behind. So It's not a little Netherlands, but just raise the yard in general.
Good job.
Yeah, fun stuff. Hey folks, welcome to Al's Concrete Corner. We like the way that this walkway is turning out, but we don't have enough fragments of the floor of the farmhouse to finish this, so I'm just going to make my own. What I'm using from the internet, you can go find a table. They'll show you the ratios for all the different compression strength concrete that you would want to make, whether it's like very low compression strength for cosmetic stuff versus very high compression strength for foundation work, piers, pillars, yada yada. The ratio that I'm using, a very common 1 to 2 to 4. So 1 part Portland, which is your cement. So if you go, instead of buying concrete in a bag, everything's pre-mixed, you get your Portland cement separate, and it's just like a gray powder. Recommend wearing a mask if you're doing this indoors, because it just flies up everywhere and it's very caustic. Essentially quicklime, if I'm not mistaken. So you have your cement, then you need sand and you need concrete. So it's cement to sand to concrete, 1 to 2 to 4. So I used a full bucket of gravel, which means I use a half bucket of sand and then a quarter bucket of Portland, and then they prescribe an amount of water to go with it, but what I like to do is just mix it myself. The idea is you add just enough water so that it starts to get it should clump together. It shouldn't be a slurry. It should be big enough that thick enough that if you were to kind of ball it up, it's gonna more or less hold its shape. It will spread out a bit, but you don't want it so that it's like liquidy, because it won't cure properly. It won't be as strong. So that's really what we're up to. Just going to mix this up, the dry ingredients first, so that the sand, Portland, and the gravel is all nice and distributed all in the wheelbarrow. Then I'm going to throw in some water and then mix it up until I'm happy with the consistency. I'll dump it in the form. We'll let it cure. I'm just doing 1 pad tonight, just to see how it works, how it looks, and then if we're happy with it, I'll probably drag out the cement mixer from the tent, and we'll do this on a more industrial industrial level. Just doing some property maintenance. We're going to cut down this poplar or Bamagilia. I've heard people use both terms for it. I consider this, and a lot of people call it, a junk tree, in that it's like the softest of the hardwoods. They're very prone to disease. You can see this one is starting to get Swiss cheesed by woodpeckers, which means if they're in there pecking away at it, there's something in there that's eating this. And even in, you know, the best of circumstances, these trees have a short lifespan, and when they get to a certain age, they're very prone to falling apart in unpredictable ways. They just, you know what I mean? It's not a very robust and hardy tree. These are quaking aspen. They're a little more robust. No signs of disease or woodpeckers or insects. So right now all three of these trees are fighting each other for water and nutrients and yada yada. So even taking this out, will be preventing some kind of problem in the future where potentially it falls on the house over yonder. And also it will improve the health of these trees by simply no longer competing for water and goodies.
Took a blow, turned a cheek. Those lessons cut me deep. I've never been the same. Painted bright or monotone, deep splashes of black. In pain the contrast grows. Make a masterpiece of mess. Even unknown is there, keep pressing on, never shy away. Find the light inside of you, follow warmth and see it through. Throw more candle on the fire, go ahead, trust yourself. Handed truth, black and white, took years to untie the bondage of those lies. They're confused, call me lost. I've never been more free. I've never seen so clear. There is life outside the lies. We're diverse and divide. Sit with self and start to build. Learn to thrive.
This one is hopefully a little more El Salid.
If you just lift up the back and let it kind of crash down. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not too pleased with that though. It's like breaking in terrible, wasteful ways. I didn't want that. I want them in bigger pieces if I can. I'll let that kiss them. This is the way we save the potatoes, save the potatoes, save the potatoes. This is the way we save the potatoes when there's a late frost.
So we've got a rainy day today, so we actually have just been hanging out and relaxing, but we went into town to pick up a couple things and we actually found a combo fruit tree. So this one has cherries and apples, and it looks like it's it's blooming a little bit, and we've been looking for another one to replace the trees that we lost that my parents gave to us, because we really do want 2 of them on the property. And so we're going to plant that today. Al is determined to do that because it's been so rainy all morning and it's supposed to continue tonight. It's a good day to plant it. So like a trooper, he's out there doing that now. And yeah, we're going to put them side by side on the property, and we're pretty pleased. So we've decided to take a break from the Flagstone path. We want those slabs to cure for a little bit longer than we did with the other 2. So in the meantime, we're going to start focusing our efforts on the fenced-in portion of the vegetable garden. We're really excited about this. It's May long weekend, so it's the perfect time, it's the perfect weather, and the seedlings are ready to be planted. So we really don't want to wait too much longer with the seedlings. But we're really excited about this. We've been talking about this for a long time, and just really excited to be able to grow our own vegetables.
What your heart tells you is what